Listen to me very carefully. This is for you. Right now, if there's a Sacagawea dollar anywhere near you, and the date ends in a 3, do not spend it. I'm serious. People throw these golden dollar coins into tip jars, vending machines, cash drawers, and loose change trays every single day. And that's exactly how silent fortunes disappear. Because the truth is, most Sacagawea dollar coins do not look rare. That's the trap. They blend in, they get ignored, and they pass through people's hands every single day without anyone realizing what they might actually be worth. But behind closed doors, collectors are quietly and aggressively searching for certain Sacagawea dollars. And when the right one shows up, the prices can be absolutely shocking. Real auction numbers, real collector demand, real money, the kind of prices that make no sense unless you know the hidden secret nobody talks about. And that's exactly why these coins are so easy to miss. Because the less people know, the easier they are to spend by mistake. So stop what you're doing and check your pocket change right now. Because in this video, it only gets rarer, scarier, and more valuable as we go. Stay with me until the very end. This is SF Coins USA, and these coins might just change everything. Next up, coin number 1. If you have a 2000-piece Sacagawea dollar hiding in your pocket, coin jar, old purse, bankroll, or forgotten drawer, you need to stop everything and look at it right now, because this is one of those modern American coins that looks completely ordinary to the average person. But to serious collectors, it could be a silent little monster with the power to explode in value under the right conditions. Most people see a gold-colored dollar and think it is just spending money, just another common coin, just one more piece of pocket change. But that is exactly how rare treasures disappear every single day. The 2000-piece Sacagawea dollar is one of the most talked about modern U.S. coins because it was the very first year of the Sacagawea series, and first-year coins always carry a special electricity in the collecting world. They are the beginning of the story, the birth of a new design, the launch of a new chapter in American coinage. And sometimes, the first years where the biggest mistakes, rarest varieties, and most shocking hidden fortunes are born. The story behind this coin is far bigger than most people realize. In the year 2000, the United States introduced the Sacagawea dollar as a bold new attempt to create a dollar coin that Americans would actually use. The older dollar coins had failed to win over the public, and the government wanted something fresh, beautiful, and instantly recognizable. So they created a glowing golden coin featuring Sacagawea, the legendary Shoshone woman who helped guide the Lewis and Clark expedition across the American frontier while carrying her infant son. That image alone gave the coin emotional power. It wasn't just money anymore, it was history in your hand. The coin represented survival, strength, courage, motherhood, wilderness, and discovery. And because the 2000p was struck in Philadelphia, it became one of the very first official examples of this new golden dollar to enter the world. That alone gives it a permanent place in modern U.S. coin history. Now here's the part that gets collectors excited. The 2000-piece Sacagawea dollar may look like gold, but it is not solid gold, and that misunderstanding has fooled millions of people. Its rich golden color comes from a manganese brass outer layer over a copper core, which gives it that glowing treasure-like appearance. That visual deception is actually part of what made the coin so famous. People saw it and instantly treated it like something special. But while the average circulated coin is usually worth only face value or a small premium, the real magic begins when you start looking for the right details. On a normal coin, you'll see Sacagawea on the front and a soaring eagle with 17 stars on the back. But if something looks strange, if the strike is odd, the color is unusual, the design looks doubled, or the surfaces look too sharp or too different, you may not be holding an ordinary dollar anymore. You may be holding a collector trapdoor coin, one of those pieces that jumps from $1 to hundreds, thousands, or far beyond. And now we enter the zone where this coin becomes legendary. The world of errors, special varieties, and shock value discoveries. The most famous 2000 Sacagawea dollar story is the almost mythical mule error, where the front of the Sacagawea dollar was accidentally struck with the reverse a Washington quarter. That kind of mint mistake is the stuff of numismatic insanity. It should not happen, but once in a while, the minting process slips, and when it does, history is made in metal. These are the kinds of coins that can bring astonishing money because collectors don't just buy rarity. They buy chaos, mystery, and impossibility. Even if you don't have that famous mule, other valuable things can still appear on a 2000p coin. Double strikes, off-center strikes, weak edge lettering areas, planchet problems, die cracks, clip planchets, broad strikes, unusual finish coins, and design doubling. These are the tiny hidden accidents that transform an everyday coin into a collector's obsession. That is why no one should ever dismiss a Sacagawea dollar without checking it carefully. One of the biggest hidden secrets of the 2000p Sacagawea dollar is that some of the most desirable pieces are not necessarily the dirtiest or oldest looking ones, but the ones with exceptional surfaces, blazing luster, or unusual strike quality. A lot of people think if a coin is old and dirty, it must be valuable. That is not always true. In fact, a filthy coin may just be a spent dollar, while a bright, untouched coin with razor-sharp detail could be the real sleeper. Collectors care about condition almost as much as rarity. If the cheek of Sacagawea is smooth and clean, the hair details are strong, the baby's figure is visible, and the eagle feathers on the reverse are crisp and glowing, then you may have a much better coin than you realize. High-grade modern coins can shock people because the difference between a common coin and a premium coin often comes down to tiny details invisible to careless eyes. This is how fortunes hide, in plain sight, in normal-looking objects, waiting for someone patient enough to notice. But what makes this coin even more powerful is the psychological trap surrounding it. Because it is modern, many people assume it can't be valuable. That assumption is exactly what creates opportunity. Rare coin discoveries don't always come from dusty pirate chests or ancient silver buried underground. Sometimes they come from a gas station, a vending machine, a bankroll, or a forgotten kitchen drawer. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar became famous partly because millions were made, but that huge mintage is also what allowed strange varieties and overlooked treasures to slip through unnoticed. When a coin is too common, people stop paying attention. And when people stop paying attention, rare things survive longer. That is why collectors still hunt this coin aggressively. Not because every piece is valuable, but because some are, and those few can change everything. One lucky discovery can turn a $1 coin into a headline. The history of coinage itself makes this even more fascinating. For more than 5,000 years, humans have created coins as symbols of trade, trust, power, and civilization. Ancient merchants once exchanged copper and silver discs across deserts, empires, and oceans. Kings stamped their faces on coins to show dominance. Civilizations rose and fell, but coins remained, small metal witnesses to human next up. Listen carefully, because the 2000 Sacagawea dollar is one of those coins that fools almost everybody. It looks modern. It looks common. It looks like something people toss into drawers, vending machines, glove boxes, and tip jars without a second thought. But that is exactly why this coin has become so dangerous to ignore. The moment people see that warm golden color in the year 2000 with a tiny D mint mark, they usually assume it is just a regular dollar. That assumption has cost people real money. Because while most 2000 Sacagawea dollars are ordinary, a very small number carry the kind of mystery, error potential, and collector energy that can send values into shocking territory. This is not a fairy tale coin. This is one of the most famous modern U.S. coins ever made. And if you know what to look for, this little golden dollar can go from spendable change to stop everything and inspect it now. The story begins in the year 2000, when the United States Mint launched the Sacagawea dollar as a bold replacement for the failed Susan B. Anthony dollar. America wanted a dollar coin people would actually use, and this new piece was designed to feel different from the silver-colored coins that had caused confusion in the past. The result was a coin with a glowing golden appearance, a smoother edge, and a design that felt more alive and more emotional than many modern issues. On the obverse, or front, appears Sacagawea carrying her infant son Jean-Baptiste. It is one of the most human and powerful portraits ever placed on an American circulation coin. On the reverse, the original 2000 design shows a soaring eagle surrounded by stars, a symbol of freedom, movement, and the expansion of a young nation. The Denver Mint version, identified by the D Mint mark, became one of the most watched coins in the entire launch year because collectors' new first-year issues are always the most dangerous to underestimate. Now here is where the coin becomes truly electric. Most people hear 2000 D Sacagawea Dollar and think ordinary. Collectors hear first-year Denver Strike and immediately think errors, launch varieties, packaging oddities, satin surfaces, strike differences, and hidden survivors. The reason this coin matters is not because every example is rare. It is because the year 2000 was chaos in the best possible collector sense. New dies, new production pressure, new demand, massive output, and intense public attention created the perfect environment for small mint anomalies to slip through. And in coin collecting, small anomaly is often another way of saying big money. That is why experienced hunters never treat a 2000 D Sacagawea like junk change until they have examined it carefully under good light. One wrong assumption, and the coin that could have changed your week disappears forever into circulation. Let's crush one myth immediately. This is not a real gold coin. The 2000 D Sacagawea Dollar has a golden appearance, but it is not struck in solid gold for circulation. Its composition is a manganese-brass-clad outer layer over a copper core, which creates that rich color people mistake for precious metal. But do not let that disappoint you, because coin value does not always come from metal. Sometimes the real fortune comes from rarity, condition, and error status. A coin can contain no silver and no gold and still crush expectations if it has the right mistake or the right preservation. That is exactly why modern collectors obsess over coins like this. They are not chasing melt value. They are chasing the impossible combination of common appearance and uncommon reality. In dirty condition, the average 2000 D Sacagawea Dollar is usually worth face value or only a small premium. That means if your coin is heavily circulated, darkened, scratched, stained, or dulled from years of handling, it is probably just a regular coin. But probably is not the same as definitely, and that difference is where collectors make money. A dirty coin can still be valuable if it has a dramatic mint error or a rare die variety. So if you find one, never clean it. Never polish it. Never scrub it with toothpaste, baking soda, vinegar, tissue, cloth, or any hack from the internet. The fastest way to destroy collector value is to turn an old surface into an unnatural, shiny disaster. A clean coin often looks dead to serious buyers. Leave it exactly as you found it and inspect the details instead. So what should you actually look for? Start with the date and mint mark. Confirm it says 2000 and that the D is present. Then check the surfaces under a bright white light. Look for doubling in letters, strange thickness in the date, weakness in parts of the strike, off-center alignment, clipped edges, odd color patches, missing design details, or anything that feels wrong. Rotate the coin slowly. Some error coins reveal themselves only when light slides across the surface. Study the eagle feathers on the reverse. Study Sacagawea's eye, cheek, and hairlines on the front. Study the rim. If the rim looks unusually wide on one side, or the design appears shifted, you may be looking at a strike issue. If the color looks dramatically different from a normal Sacagawea dollar, that can also be worth investigating. Modern mint mistakes often hide in plain sight because they do not scream, they whisper. Now let's talk about the dream category. The kinds of Sacagawea dollar errors and special pieces that make collectors lose their minds. The most legendary Sacagawea-associated story is the mule error, where the Sacagawea obverse was accidentally paired with the reverse of a Washington quarter. That kind of coin exploded into numismatic history because it should not exist. It is one of the most famous modern U.S. mint mistakes ever discovered. While that specific mule is a separate ultra-rarity and not simply any 2000E, it proves a critical point. The year 2000 Sacagawea launch was not just another mint release. It was a pressure cooker of possibilities. And once collectors know a series has already produced one monster error, every normal-looking coin from that launch year suddenly becomes more dangerous to ignore. That is why even ordinary 2000D pieces still get checked again and again. Condition is where ordinary can become extraordinary. A 2000D Sacagawea dollar with blazing original luster, almost no marks, and a razor-sharp strike can be worth dramatically more than a beat-up example. This is where many people lose money without realizing it. They assume a coin is only valuable if it is ancient or made of silver. Wrong. Modern coins in elite condition can become shockingly desirable because so many were abused in circulation or mishandled in storage. If your coin still glows with strong original mint frost, has smooth, untouched fields, and shows very few contact marks, it enters a different conversation entirely. Collectors pay for eye appeal. They pay for freshness. They pay for survival. And they pay hardest when a coin looks like it escaped time. The history behind Sacagawea, next up. If you have a 2001 piece Sacagawea dollar hiding in a coin jar, a purse, or an old drawer, stop for a second before you spend it, because this small golden coin has one of the most misunderstood stories in modern American coin history. To most people, it looks ordinary, just another dollar coin nobody uses. But to collectors, it represents a powerful mix of history, symbolism, modern minting, and the constant dream that one unnoticed coin could turn into a serious payday. The 2001 piece Sacagawea dollar is not automatically a fortune, but it is absolutely one of those coins that people ignore too quickly, and that is exactly why it keeps showing up in videos, auctions, and collector conversations year after year. This coin was struck in Philadelphia, and the P mint mark is one of the first things serious collectors look for when checking it. The Sacagawea dollar series began in 2000, and by 2001 the coin had already become famous for its unusual golden appearance, smooth edge, and bold historical design. The United States wanted a new dollar coin that looked modern, felt different in the hand, and could stand apart from the older Susan B. Anthony dollar that many people confused with a quarter. So the Sacagawea dollar was created to feel more distinctive, more symbolic, and more memorable. Even though many people still preferred paper money, this coin was meant to represent a new chapter in American coinage. The woman on the front of the coin is Sacagawea, the young Native American guide, remembered for helping the Lewis and Clark expedition travel through unfamiliar territory in the early 1800s. Her image was chosen not just for beauty, but for meaning. She represents endurance, intelligence, courage, and survival under pressure. On the coin, she is shown carrying her infant son, which gives the design a deeply human feeling that many collectors consider one of the strongest portraits ever placed on a modern U.S. circulating coin. This is not just a dollar. It is a symbol of guidance, movement, and national storytelling stamped into metal. The reverse of the 2001 Sacagawea dollar carries the soaring eagle design used in the early years of the series, and that image matters more than many people realize. The eagle is not just there to look patriotic. It gives the coin motion and power, and the stars surrounding it connect the design to the spirit of expansion and the early growth of the nation. When collectors examine this coin, they're not only checking value. They are also reading a visual story, and that story is part of why the Sacagawea dollar remains so popular even when many examples are still only worth face value. Now here is the part that shocks people. The 2001 piece Sacagawea dollar is not made of real gold, even though it has a rich golden look that often fools beginners. Its color comes from a manganese brass outer layer over a copper core. That means the coin has a warm, gold-like tone without being precious metal. So if someone tells you every golden Sacagawea coin is made of gold, that is simply wrong. But that does not mean it cannot still be valuable. In coin collecting, rarity, condition, strike quality, and mint mistakes can matter far more than metal alone. In ordinary, dirty, circulated condition, most 2001 piece Sacagawea dollars are usually just worth $1. That is the truth many people do not want to hear, but it is better to know the real story than fall for fantasy. A scratch coin with dull surfaces, heavy wear, and no special variety is usually common. But this is where the collector mindset changes everything. Common coins can still become uncommon when the right detail appears. A strange strike, a missing element, doubled lettering, odd color, off-center design, or unusual finish can turn an ignored coin into a collector target. The real excitement with Sacagawea dollars comes from the fact that the series is famous for varieties and errors. Collectors examine these coins very carefully because modern dollars can hide dramatic surprises. Some examples are struck more sharply than others. Some show unusual doubling. Some have odd planchet or strike behavior. And across the broader Sacagawea dollar family, rare error coins have reached astonishing prices because they reveal something unusual happened during the minting process. That is why no serious collector dismisses a Sacagawea dollar too quickly, especially an early year coin like 2001p. Condition is one of the biggest value drivers, and this is where many people accidentally destroy money without realizing it. A coin that still has bright original luster, smooth, untouched surfaces, and crisp design detail is far more desirable than one that has been cleaned, rubbed, polished, or damaged. The biggest mistake people make is trying to improve an old coin by washing or shining it. That can actually hurt its value badly. To a collector, original, untouched surfaces are often more attractive than an unnaturally cleaned coin. So if you think your 2001 Sacagawea dollar might be special, the smartest thing you can do is handle it gently and avoid scrubbing it. Sometimes the dirt is less damaging than the cleaning. The bigger story behind this coin becomes even more interesting when you zoom out and look at the 5,000-year history of coins around the world. Long before modern dollars, ancient civilizations used stamped metal as trusted value. Small discs of bronze, silver, and gold passed through empires, markets, armies, and caravans. A coin was never just money. It was identity, authority, and memory. Kings placed their faces on coins to project power. Nations placed symbols on coins to define themselves. In that same tradition, the Sacagawea dollar is part of a very old human habit, telling a civilization's story through the objects people carry every day. That is why collectors care so deeply. A coin is a miniature time capsule. So if you have a 2001 Sacagawea dollar, do not assume it is worthless just because it is modern, and do not assume it is a jackpot just because it is golden. The truth is more interesting than either extreme. Most are ordinary, but some become desirable because of condition, rarity, and hidden mint oddities. That tiny coin in your hand carries American history on one side, symbolic flight on the other, and behind both of them stand a tradition of coinage stretching back thousands of years. And that is exactly why people keep searching through jars, drawers, old boxes, and forgotten change, because every once in a while, one small coin stops being ordinary and starts becoming a story worth money. Next up,